How's everybody doing? It is episode 15 of Drinks with Los Hermanos. I am Tristan.
I'm Jackson.
We're here with Cam Cummins.
Hello, everybody.
Man, you would not believe the amount of work our team had to get him in here.
It's been weeks.
We sent him the contract. He apparently needed a couple changes. He needed Fiji water exclusively. But no.
Fiji water.
But we're here just to talk to him about things in Battle Creek.
Good.
He's from here, right?
I am. I went to Penfield High School.
Went to Penfield High School, left, came back, left again. So we'll see what he thinks about the changes happening in Battle Creek. Can you give us a little background about you?
Yeah, so I grew up, like I said, I went to Penfield High School. I lived on the north side of my city all of my life. Graduated in 2007. Went off to Michigan State for college. Came back as I was changing to go to Ferris State, then moved to Grand Rapids, lived in downtown Grand Rapids. Finished college, came back, worked at the cricket club for 7 years, gosh. And in that time I moved to Kalamazoo as well and would commute into work every day.
That's a long commute. Well, it's not long, but for the cricket.
Yeah. It was a great place to work. Definitely taught me a few things and gave me some new perspectives on life. But you live in a big city, it takes 25 minutes to get anywhere. And so driving from Kalamazoo to Battle Creek,
that's true.
I take it as I'm still in one city.
That's true. In Grand Rapids, you could drive 25 minutes and still be
you're still
far away from where you were. From the guy that's living in Kalamazoo and seeing things and still coming back and putting a lot of effort into building Battle Creek, what do you see that you like that's going on?
Attitude, I think, is one of the biggest things that's been a noticeable change in this city. And it's even for me, and it might be me doing that and using the secret of putting that out in the universe. I'm definitely not the catalyst of it by any means, but changing the mood of Battle Creek from we lost everything, we saw Kellogg's go through some troubled times and people left, jobs left, post shut down facilities, everybody was worried about that, everybody left, and all these jobs left, and then all of a sudden it became a woe is us as the city of Battle Creek, and everyone felt helpless. And the mood went from Battle Creek being a bustling city. I remember during the 90s, you wouldn't want to go to Kalamazoo because Kalamazoo was the bad city.
Yeah.
And the attitude of Battle Creek was very Battle Creek positive. And that changed. It went downhill. Stopped believing in the school system, stopped believing in major infrastructure here in Battle Creek. And now it seems to be that probably through will and a lot of hard work on a lot of people, but that mood is starting to look up again. It's starting to be optimistic about this city and what it could be.
Yeah, I think the mood kind of started going down, I'd say, early to mid-2000s. I mean, it was about when I was in high school. You graduated in 07, I graduated in 05, so it's probably around then where it was basically everyone who was graduating was getting out. Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't want to stay here.
Yeah.
Didn't want to go to KCC.
No, you exported.
If you could help it, you didn't want to stay here. And I like that is changing a lot. I mean, it's slow. It's a slow process, but it's going.
But it is something that, as weird as it is to say, it is tangible. Because if you walk around a city where everyone is negative about that city, you can feel it.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're in a city that there is at least a glimmer of hope, you can feel that too. And I think that we're starting to get back to where we can see a light and we can see a direction in which Battle Creek needs to head. It's just, how do we take everybody's different avenues and get there as quickly as we can? That's the other thing too, is waiting is never fun.
No, it's not. I mean, I kind of feel that with when I used to go to Tigers games back in the mid-2000s, early mid-2000s, it was that everybody hated Detroit. It sucked. Mm-hmm. Nothing positive was going on. You drove in to go see your sports team and you left immediately.
Yep.
And that's completely changed. I mean, the last few times we've been down in Detroit, it's
all-out destination.
Yeah, I mean, people like we went there to do more than just go to the game. Like the game was a byproduct; it was an excuse to go back to Detroit and do stuff. Like I mean, we went to Ready Player One, which is a really cool barcade they got down there.
I've read about
Went
it.
to a
It's
place
amazing.
called Punch Bowl Social, where they specialize in making you punch bowls, and just it was awesome.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, and it was a really cool place to go hang out and do stuff besides just go see a sports team.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't have a desirable sports team here, but I think it can be a cool place to come and hang out.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a destination for millions. What it needs to be is a destination for the people who live here.
Right.
And if it becomes that, then it becomes a destination for outsiders. So, like we said, it's if you're in a city where nobody believes in it, you can feel that.
Yeah.
If you're in a city where people do believe in it, you can feel that too. But as an outsider, if you come to Battle Creek and the people you talk to are really excited about the city they live in and the activities they have going on, you want to come back to that city because it is so positive of an experience for you. Not to say that everything has to be positive. I mean, you can't make it fully universal across the city, but if we can offer the people of Battle Creek and outsiders to come into a city that we feel really good about, that would be a huge momentum change for us.
Yeah, I mean, the arena is underutilized as I think it is. I mean, they do bring in a lot of outsiders like that. The dance showstopper was here last week, and that's a lot of people. And
They got motocross
a couple weeks next week.
Yeah, in April.
But if we can get those people to come in and like it here,
Yeah.
they'll be more apt to come back for other things and maybe even come back for another reason. Yeah, they found a restaurant. They're like, oh man, I went to Umami Ramen. That place is awesome. We need to come back.
I got kind of a backhanded compliment about Battle Creek when I was working at the cricket club. There was this wonderful couple that had sat at my bar all night, and it was right after the streets were redone, after those grant dollars were used. And they said, wow, this is the nicest ghost town we've ever been in. And I was like, well, that stings a little bit, but I get what you're saying.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, you look up and down the streets, there's no foot traffic anywhere.
A lot of empty buildings.
A lot of empty buildings, but we have the infrastructure here is you're basically taking an empty canvas and providing color by number.
Sure.
Really. I mean, when you talk about a city that you can get in and out of downtown via a highway, and you have two 19-story buildings right next to each other one's going to be completely brand new, the other one is already being utilized but underutilized. Parking, as somebody who lives in an area where parking's becoming a crunch now, the parking here is ample. And
Is it really?
Thank you.
So it's really interesting, and I'm no infrastructure expert, but when I drive into Kalamazoo, it's hard to get in and out of Kalamazoo, and sometimes there's a train in your way. There's ambulances that have to divert to a different hospital because there's a train running.
We got a big bridge.
Yeah. And we have a lovely thing called the Penetrator. I'm not sure if that's safe for work. But it literally takes you from a major interstate to downtown Battle Creek. And I mean downtown Battle Creek.
Right in.
In like 5 minutes.
Yes. And that is so underestimated. The fact that we could have people in from an airport within 5 minutes, all that kind of stuff is huge for this city. And as we grow, as things happen, will be a huge selling point for people.
I mean, isn't it like, so Kalamazoo's trying to get an arena downtown. They're trying to get a bridge over the railroad tracks. They're trying to do all these other things. I think it was Cody that told us this, Cody Newman. He's like, we already have all those things.
Yeah.
He's like, people don't understand that. And we're like, big picture that. Like, we have all of those infrastructure things that Mighty Kalamazoo wants.
Yeah.
Battle Creek already has.
Along with the fact that we do have a Fortune 20, 10
Yeah. Very major.
Company.
company headquartered
Yeah, it's
literally outside of the window.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
see it.
we talk about that nearly every day about how since we grew up here and it's not a big city, Kellogg's doesn't feel like it's that big of a
It
company.
never dawned on us. Like, oh,
The CEO
Kellogg.
of that company works in that building.
Yeah.
Like, you don't ever really think about that because I don't know. I don't know why you don't think about that, but you just don't.
I think there's probably also because of the big conception that Battle Creek sucked. So you just are like, well, why would someone like that want to work here?
true.
And that's something that I've had to fight too. With the Battle Creek sucked. I was at one point in time definitely a believer in that, and I was a perpetuator of the attitude. And when I look back, I'm like, why did I do that? Because I was working in Battle Creek at the time and being like, oh, I bet Battle Creek sucks, whatever. And when I think about the attitude of Battle Creek sucks, it's so self-inflicted, and it's so. It gets in the way of so much progress by thinking that is one of our biggest obstacles to overcome. Yes. When we talk about hashtag only in Battle Creek, it's only about ridiculous stories that happen once to one person in the population, and it gets published in the Inquirer. Like it's a tabloid at that point. Not the Inquirer as a whole, but just that article.
But I mean, that happened on Territorial, right down the street from where we live. We had that one incident down there, and everyone's like, "Oh, only Battle Creek."
Except that happens everywhere. It just gets magnified because you probably know someone that knows someone that knows her or them.
And you liked and shared it on Facebook, and then Battle Creek sucks, and so we shared it again.
Right, exactly.
So for me, and getting into Ignite BC stuff too, it's really changing that hashtag only in Battle Creek to, sure, the world's longest breakfast table is kind of a hokey event, but that is an event that only happens here.
Yeah.
You have one of the richest companies in the world who buys an entire street for a day and provides free breakfast to thousands and thousands of people. When you think about it that way, kind of cool.
Yeah, it is.
So changing the motto of only in Battle Creek to, we already have an arena downtown, connected to a hotel that's being revamped, that's going to have condos in it, connected to a 19-story building that's going to be revamped and will have a hotel and condos in it, connected to a downtown main street that has multiple restaurants and bars.
With one major one coming in.
Yes. I mean, that should be the hashtag only in Battle Creek.
Yeah.
Not, oh my God, we saw a guy get robbed and it ended up being a banana that it got held up with. Like, that's...
Not again.
Yeah. Damn it.
But I mean, I think that's going to be something that turns, like, the view. I tell people all the time, because we get asked, oh, I can't believe New Holland's coming in. It's a little risky, isn't it? And I'm like, no. They're not in the business of losing money.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. They're an established brand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Battle Creek has 50,000 people, residents alone. And like you said, it's connected to the penetrator, which is connected to the interstate, which you can get to Kalamazoo, Marshall, Jackson, and then that gets to 69 and 131. You got two major markets that you can get there too. Then not Coldwater and all those.
You think about Fort Custer as well. Battle Creek was the incubation space for one of the largest auto manufacturers in the world, as Denso.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. That doesn't get talked about. There's 63,000 jobs in Fort Custer. That's a big
lot.
That's a lot.
And people don't. I didn't know the pure number. I just knew there's a ton. But I mean, you don't think of.
And there's more coming.
That.
Yeah.
And so not only does the downtown of Battle Creek rock, honestly, it does. But we also have the satellite areas that go along with it. It's just, how can we really start to build it up? And how can we do it?
Even connect the dots.
Yeah, how can we do it cohesively?
I mean, you have that big project, you have these big projects, but like, it almost feels like that's two separate places.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's connected by a road that's like 2-3 miles long.
How many times would somebody say, if let's say you're in East Lansing and somebody says, let's go to a bar, and you're like, okay, yeah, but it's a 15-minute drive. You'd be like, oh yeah, sure, it's around campus.
Yeah.
Well, here it's like, if you're in downtown Battle Creek and somebody's like, let's go to JB Whiskey, they're just like, that's a little far away.
It happens all the time.
That's true. I mean, that's true. Like,
I mean, our parents didn't. They came downtown to work, but we never did anything else down here, and they just lived south of Beckley Road, and it's not that far away.
And what really blows my mind is, I'll talk to my dad. My dad grew up in Bellevue, and he talks about Battle Creek during the 70s. The musical acts alone were just like, holy cow! Like, how did we miss, like, Al Green performing regularly?
Really?
You're talking major rock bands, Kiss, Who, all that kind of stuff, playing downtown Battle Creek in like clubs.
That's nuts.
And it was $5 to get in, and it was often. It wasn't like, once a year. It was like often. So to think about what Battle Creek has already been, in that we got away from it big time. But we have the opportunity. We really do have an empty slate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of empty real estate here on Michigan.
Like you said, the arena is underutilized. That's a major thing to have. You can be bringing in the those musical acts or anything really that gets people downtown, which then stimulates the restaurants and bars that are down here.
Yeah.
It's just,
One of the things that, living in Kalamazoo is you see people living downtown who invest in downtown. And I think that's, if we're being honest, it's one thing Battle Creek's been really bad about. Whether it's gentrification, whatever you want to blame it on, the surrounding area that surrounds downtown Battle Creek is not necessarily where expendable income comes from.
Right.
Is there a whole discussion you could have about why that is and how we can fix that? Yeah, absolutely, and we'll leave that to the economists and all those experts. But getting people mobilized with jobs, getting expendable income to surround the downtown of Battle Creek, and getting housing like in downtown Battle Creek can be the biggest driver of change for how downtown Battle Creek is viewed. Because if you have people walking out of their front door and they have the ability to go frequent a restaurant that's across the street from them, amazing. That's how you get that done. And that's what Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids and Detroit, that's what they've really focused on, is getting those mixed use properties in charge of what's going on downtown. So you have an apartment building that has a restaurant or a business on the first floor. That is kind of what we're missing. We have big buildings that were either residential or business.
Yeah.
Not both. And if they were residential, the people who live there are there for the week and they're executives.
Yeah.
And then they
When
leave.
fly out.
And understandably so. You can't be mad at them for supporting Battle Creek and paying rent.
Yeah.
But to have a population that wants to stick around here and support it and invest in it would change everything completely.
Well, I mean, right across the street, Shranks is getting torn down, the old Shranks building. While it is not ideal, what's proposed to go there is mixed-use building, just what you're talking about.
Yep.
And it's
Another
affordable,
it's a
too. It's not supposed to
7-story.
be-
Yeah. And I've seen some pushback, like, oh, affordable, is that really who we want downtown? And it's like, okay, affordable doesn't mean...
Yes.
It is, but it doesn't mean what everyone often thinks it means. Getting, I don't know, Section 8, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's not the tower that you have to be an executive to be able to pay for.
You want a downtown that everyone can participate in.
exactly.
You want a normal citizen to be able to live downtown and go out to Barista Blues and get breakfast. On
Exactly,
the way to work.
Because $5 coming from somebody to your business or their business and paying for a product, whether it's once a week, once a month, once a year, it's still revenue.
Right.
And getting revenue down here and getting people to participate in that is the biggest obstacle, as I see as an outsider of business now to downtown Battle Creek, but is the biggest obstacle to running a successful business is how do we get the return customer or that revenue to return and turn over and to come back into this community, and specifically this quarter mile geographically.
We were. I saw something. We're in a coffee owners Facebook group. It's just kind of like a help, and somebody was like, "So, how do you get squatters out of your coffee shop? Like, someone came
Or, like,
in
what do you do?
and ordered a coffee and was here 12 hours. What should I do? How do I get them out of here?" And everyone was like,
You don't.
"You don't.
Yeah.
A, they bought something from you. B, they're seat fillers. That makes it look like your cafe has people in it. And they were probably doing something." He's like, "And if you go up and you tell someone to leave, pretty much guarantee you they're not coming back.
Oh yeah.
Because why would they come back to a place that said, well, you haven't bought anything in a while. I need you out of here."
And also, I told him this morning when he said that, I was like, also go maybe talk to them and create a relationship with them and make them a regular.
Yeah.
They'll come back.
We had a guy who came into the cricket club and he didn't look homeless, but he just looked like a crazy person. Like, what were the tiger stripe sweatpants? You know what I'm talking about? Zubas, yeah. So he wore multicolored Zubas, a 30-year-old coat, a holey sweatshirt, and if it weren't for Chris Fold at the time talking to this guy, starting a relationship, serving him, and this guy ordered a gin and tonic with gin or Hendrix, which is expensive.
It's not a well
and
gin.
he was like, "All right, $6.50," And the guy threw out 100 and said, keep it. Like, so literally judging a book by its cover, whether it is clearly a homeless person or not, like maybe that person's going to turn their life around and all of a sudden come back and be a great advocate for your business.
Yeah, and that was a specific reference somebody said there. Like, you know, what if when they get back on their feet, they say, this place treated me well, and it's just good.
And what if you are the reason that they felt like a human again?
Yeah. And that was kind of one thing we noticed down at the cargo is so it was in what I'll call the middle grounds of the homeless population of Battle Creek, between the train station, between Haven and that. I don't know what it is, but across Dickman there's like a
food bank.
Okay, so there'd be movement all day, and
Well, you'd see it in the morning.
they'd go from
Move from the Haven
over to the food
Go
bank.
get breakfast.
Yeah, and then you would see some of them travel back and forth, and then at night there'd be another major kind of like flow. But that was every day.
Yeah, and it was just like, just to see how people would react to them. It's like, they're people. Like, they're down on their luck. They're people. We talked to as many of them as we could when we were out there.
And it's busy being homeless. So I've been really lucky through United Way to sit down with a guy named Willie Baronet. And he started as an artist. He's a professor, I think, at UT San Antonio. And one of the things he does is he travels around the country on his spare time and buys signs from homeless people. And so he'll negotiate with them, say, you know, you have a very interesting sign. Can I buy that for $20, $15? And so that way there's an exchange of goods. But then he'll ask them their name. And he had one lady who said that she hadn't been asked her name in 4 years. I mean, can you imagine not being called your name in 4 years?
Yeah.
No.
It's absolutely dehumanizing. And it was a really big perspective change for me. You know, I grew up in Penfield. Nothing's ever gone wrong in my life. I've been very lucky to be privileged. And it was nothing I ever had to think about. But for him to kind of come out and say that, you know, the biggest thing these people want and the biggest change that can take place is to make them feel human again, that doesn't cost anything. And it doesn't have to be you giving cash to somebody every time they ask for it. It can be, what's your name? Are you safe? I'm sorry I don't have anything, but I wish you the best of luck. And everybody has time for that.
But I mean, we built relationships with a couple. One was named Ricky.
Yeah.
And he would come by
Every
probably
day?
3 times a day and sit down. Yep. He would, happiest guy in the world. Always had a smile on his face. I have no clue how, given this situation, but
He was always happy.
always happy. And you know, there's a couple times where he sat down and we just had a full-on conversation, like both of us.
Yeah. Different times, just talking.
Yeah.
You know, he never asked for anything. Like, there'd be some times in the summer where he'd ask if it was cool if he got some ice because he had a drink or something, but he never once asked us for money or free coffee or. A lot of times if we offered him stuff, he'd be like, "Nah, man, I'm good."
He'd be a hard like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
And so.
You know, obviously that's not 100% of the case. There's plenty of aggressive and violent-looking and acting people, and they need all sorts of help. It's not a universal issue you can fix, but it can be a moment of kindness that really changes somebody's day, week, month, anything.
Right.
I mean, for a homeless person, they're not happy that they're homeless. And it is, I mean, traveling, especially Battle Creek has a lot of barriers in it. Whether it's staying at the Haven or another shelter, if they can, but usually those fill up, or in getting to food on time, leaving because you get kicked out of there, and then you have to go back to get food on time again. Looking at it and seeing it in person, it's a logistical nightmare.
Yeah. Not to mention that the food desert in Battle Creek.
Yeah.
Like, Horrocks is the only market downtown that really sells food. Just think, where are people supposed to get food in Battle Creek?
Yeah.
If you don't have a car,
There's no bodega down here to do anything.
And the mass transit. I mean, this is one of the things I've said a lot. It stops at 6.
Yeah.
5:30 or 6 or whatever.
And it's a
it
hard
is-
stop shut
It is
down.
for first shifters.
Yep.
And that is it. Like, so if you're a second shifter and you work out of the fort, you better get a ride or you better have a car.
That's one of the amazing numbers I heard is that, so if you're a third shift worker in the fort and you are the driver, because it costs up to $450 a month to take a cab out to the fort if you're going to take a cab every shift.
Yeah.
That's if you can get one.
Right.
Because
Is it that late?
yeah. Plus you have to have
Or that
cash.
early? Yeah.
So if you are the driver and you get displaced from your job, whether that's because your car breaks down, something happens, 4 to 6 people also lose their jobs in Battle Creek because of the transit situation currently.
Is that many people carpool out there?
Wow.
I've never thought about that. It's crazy that a place where there is so many factory jobs where
You
they're
said
working around the clock.
63,000. So I mean, a third of that. I mean, it's,
There's no way to get to work unless you have a car.
Yeah. And that is one of the things that Battle Creek could definitely work on. I mean, no, there's a whole bunch of issues that go into that. It costs a lot of money to run a transit system 24/7, especially to drive that far out. As I just ridiculed that being that far out. But logistically, to get people from this neighborhood to there on time for work, I mean, number one, you're going to have to do that 2 hours early so you can take all the bus stops and get out there. But it does cost a lot of money. There are services that are stepping up to do that. But that can be a huge barrier to, once again, these people in Battle Creek who we look at. When you say Battle Creek sucks, that's who you're talking about, honestly. Because if you live on Gogwak Lake, Battle Creek doesn't suck. If you live on a lake and you have money to go to restaurants, Battle Creek's fine. Cost of living's amazing.
Right.
yeah.
I mean, you go to Chicago and a Bud Light bottle's $11. You go anywhere here and it's above $3.50. You're throwing a fit.
Right.
$4?
Yeah. Cost of living here is amazing. Actual amenities of Southwest Michigan, if you have the money to go experience them, amazing. But when we talk about Battle Creek sucking, sure, could there be more restaurants? Yeah, but you got to go spend money on them.
Yeah.
And you have to go out and actually support them. It can't just be Battle Creek sucks, I'm not helping.
Yeah.
It's the only reason, if we let Battle Creek suck, it's because we have failed the people in Battle Creek who really do drive it. And that is the mass that lives in actual Battle Creek. If we can provide opportunity in a scenario for them to succeed, then the city takes leaps and bounds forward.
All right. Well, a couple questions before we wrap it up, since you gotta
Hard
get
to
home
stop.
to the wife.
Hockey. Yeah, hockey.
Hockey. All right.
Not the wife.
Not the wife.
Never. Sorry, Emily.
So, what are some big things that you're excited, other than the positivity coming downtown?
People. I think with how lucky we have been with success with Ignite BC, getting people excited to come to stuff downtown again, and that's from age group 18 years old to, I think the oldest participant we've had so far was 66.
Wide range.
Yeah, but getting people excited to come participate and feel like they're part of the community again is a really big thing for me. 2, I'm excited for some of the businesses that have claimed that they're going to come down here. Obviously, New Holland, fantastic. JPG Resources talking about moving downtown. That's a big deal.
Already signed, yeah.
Yep. And I'm sure more will follow. You guys having a standalone spot where you're in a physical location, awesome. I'm excited to see what happens for you guys. I honestly think that whatever the catalyst of this uptick in trying in Battle Creek, whatever the catalyst is, I'm excited about that.
So, explaining all those, do you think we're on like the cusp of the majority of the people being negative switching to positive? Do you think that's coming in a couple months?
I think we're at, I don't think it's, we'll see 51% of the people super excited to be here. I think we're at a time in Battle Creek, I don't want to say a moment because that talks about it too quickly, but I think we're at an area of Battle Creek where the next 3 to 5 years could be really, I don't want it to sound dire, but make or break for this city. I think that there's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of focus on that opportunity right now, and if that isn't taken advantage of, then we're going to go back to the early 2000s moment where now it's really tough to be positive about Battle Creek again because we saw so many things come, try, and fail.
Or be said that it was promised that they were coming and then not come. I could see why you would be negative or not positive when you see all these things promised and said, "Oh, this is gonna happen," and you're just like, "Okay."
Yeah, I mean, through attrition alone, if you just keep seeing things happen that are negative, you're gonna have a negative feeling. There's nothing to fight that.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that you always hear is, well, they tried this and it didn't work.
Yeah.
They tried this and it didn't work, and it's like, well, you got to keep trying. Or
Right.
else-
Well, yeah, it's trying is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what we want people to feel like they can come to Battle Creek and they can try. Having that belief that this is a city that you can make it in would be a huge narrative change for us.
Yeah.
Because the narrative before that was you can go to Battle Creek, but you're gonna lose. If you're a business owner, I mean, what you got? 2-year window and cut it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's about the story.
Maybe
that people
less.
Tell, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, there's even online. I mean, it's Facebook comments, so enter at your own risk. But you just see a ton of negativity about downtown, and like, why would a business want to go open there? And you'll just lose all your money, and just. And I mean, it hasn't been our experience that way. I mean, we've had a lot of help. Don't get me wrong, but
I also think having a different outlook of how we want to build a community helps as well.
Yeah. No, it totally does. Having the city behind us, having the W.K. Kellogg Foundation behind us, having Kellogg proclaim that this is their headquarters, and it's going to be their headquarters.
It's good.
Having the fort functioning and robust, BCU's doing an amazing job out there.
yeah.
Those organizations are a big reason as to why this is still a place where you can come and try and succeed. Now, can we get the rest of the people to come along and play?
Right.
That's the next challenge.
I mean, you just got to get it cool enough for everyone to hop in. I mean, I think I'm starting to see that a little bit with like the Battle Creek positivity.
Yeah.
Is like there's been the people like Jeremy Andrews who've been in for so long,
Just trying.
just pounding and pounding and pounding.
Just cutting away at
I
this
just think
tree.
now more and more people are starting to say, hey, things are actually getting done.
Yeah.
So I want to get on the side of it because it's a cool, good thing to be positive about Battle Creek when it used to be the cool thing to just shit on Battle Creek.
Yeah. I think that's, if we can challenge people to do one thing that is like, here's their homework. Look at how you talk about the city that you live, work, and play in, and or play. And are you being positive about it, or are you saying, you gotta go to Battle Creek in a negative way?
Yeah.
Because then you're bringing, I mean, if you look at it holistically, you're just bringing pessimism into your
Yeah.
life for no reason.
Right.
Where you have the opportunity to be positive and make yourself happier just by thinking happier. And while it sounds all smiles, giggles, and butterflies, it is actually true. Like, at that moment when I looked at myself and I was like, why do I keep saying Battle Creek sucks? I am part of the problem. And by being part of the problem, I am the problem.
Yeah.
And if it is just me that I can change by doing that, that's what I'll do. But no matter who you are, you affect a lot of people in your life. And if you believe that positively in your life, or in the Battle Creek city, whether you live, work, or play here, whatever, it's a big challenge to jump over that hurdle and say, that could be a good city. Kalamazoo can be a great city. Kalamazoo is a good city. There's a lot of challenges there. Grand Rapids is a great city. There's a lot of challenges there. There's plenty of stuff that sucks about anywhere.
Yeah.
But if you choose to look at that and expand on that, you're only hurting yourself.
Right.
Pretty great note to end on. Positive, great outlook. You got to look at the positives because, like you said, everybody loves Grand Rapids. It's the most amazing place in the world. You live there. You live there.
Yeah.
Same bad things.
There's as
that
much
happen
poverty
here.
there as there is here.
Yeah.
It's one of the most segregated
Might be
cities in
more.
America.
Yeah.
Kalamazoo, I mean, if you drive north of Kalamazoo Street, it doesn't feel like you're in Kalamazoo.
I was gonna say the north side's nothing like what people say downtown,
Yeah.
and they also wrote Portage into
Yeah.
being Kalamazoo.
Say we're going to Kalamazoo.
so-
Oh, where are you going? Oh, Olive Garden. Yeah, that's Portage.
Dope.
It's not Kalamazoo.
Which, by the way, I don't have an Olive Garden in Battle Creek yet.
Oh my god.
God damn.
All right, well that's it there. Thanks for tuning in. Oh,
Yeah.
before we go, if people are looking to get involved, turn their positivity into action, what kind of groups, places, and things can they go in Battle Creek to do that?
Yeah, obviously Ignite BC, ignitebc.org. Subscribe, learn about all the events that we have going on, all the events with BC MAMs that we're wanting to promote,
Yeah.
get all our members to share, be a part of. United Way, I'm on the board for that, so just give them your money. And Chamber, City of Battle Creek, everybody's pushing events out there. Follow the good stuff.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
You're hearing it here first.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks, guys.
It took weeks to do, but we
Sorry
got
for
you
being
on
such a
there
pain.
fine. It's prima donnas. That's what we were for.
Showed up late too. But yeah, that's it.
So yeah, that's another one in the books. Thanks for joining us, and as always, take it easy.
Thanks, guys.